Welcome back, or if you're new, welcome to the Jew channel on YouTube. My name is Kevin, and I wanted to talk today about shadow work. But before I begin, I wanted to read something that I found that I think is extremely important, especially when you're doing shadow work, even in just today's day and age of when you're meeting people, when you're interacting with people. You want to free your mind, and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. Isn't that beautiful? Again, welcome. I wanted to talk about shadow work today. I made some notes as I was thinking about the topic. Shadow work is based on how you explore and acknowledge yourself on a new level. You address emotions, feelings, etc., memories. It could be something that you look into based on a feeling of power, envy, or sadness, anger, something that you desire. That's what shadow work is, to get to the bottom or the root of the situation. Because in a lot of situations, people get uncomfortable, and I don't feel that people should have to be that way. And it's usually based on something from the past. As far as the occult is concerned, we are supposedly supposed to grow, or at least most of us try to grow, and adapt more to our life, our lifestyles, what have you, based on these workings, or findings, or shadows, as what they're called in the back of our minds. So, you have to think back at who made you feel this way and why do you feel this way in your past. When we were born, back on day one, the first minute, the first second we were born, you want to think about how everyone was given an identity. Now, this is based on psychology, but that I've done research by Carl Jung. He came up with this concept as far as shadow work is concerned, and to me, whether you are practicing or if you're spiritual or what have you, it's still important that you should acknowledge these things because you have to get past it. Again, going back to the day that we were born, we were given several things, which is part of a false identity, which has become accepted within society. So you're given a social security number, you were given a first, possibly a middle, a last name. You were told what sex that you are. As you were growing up, you learned what was right from wrong based on your household and based on the society that you grew up in. And in situations where we're told that things are wrong, especially in the occult form of speaking, that's something that we need to overcome ourselves and get beyond it. So if you learn something new and you're looking to get beyond another belief, like let's say you grew up Catholic like I did, I grew up Catholic, and there were things that were said to me when I was younger that wasn't so nice. The fact that I'm gay, obviously, and my family, myself, I was told at age 6 or 7 that I was not welcome in the church anymore for this reason. Now, at that age, I didn't even know what the word gay meant. I had no clue what it meant. But I was threatened by the pastor that if I came back, then he would tell my parents what's going on, and he would basically, in a nutshell, tear my family apart based off this religion. So, in my mind, at that age, why would I want to be a part of that? Who would want to be a part of that? So, thus overcoming something from your past and the shadows that makes you feel not so good or not so accepted or not so loved. With Carl Jung and his development processes in shadow work, he describes it as a level of maturity, increased creativity, clarity of perceptions, and relief of mental suffering. So that's what you would gain or you would develop if you did shadow work outside of the occult realm. People have told us that practicing or studying the occult is bad, and here we are today where it's actually very accepted. It's on social media, it's on the television, it's on all the streaming services. You can watch. My go-to for this type of thing is definitely Charmed. That's where I kind of got introduced to it in the Book of Shadows and all that stuff. But for me, what really worked as far as the shadow work is concerned, from both a mundane and a spiritual concept, is keeping a journal and committing to write to it every day to make yourself more aware of your hidden agenda behaviors and recognize your own individual potential. This is my journal. This is what I do. Time and time again, I have everything in here. It used to be a bullet journal, and then this month I decided, you know what, I don't stick with it for an entire month. I'm just going to change it. So that's something with shadow work too. You find something that doesn't work for you, and you don't have to go along with what everybody else does on YouTube as far as journaling is concerned. Bujos, bullet journals, journaling. You do whatever you want to do. Some people will call this as a journal just based on shadow work itself. For me, I combine everything in one because it does have an index or a listing where you can look up things, whatever you want to call that, titles, what have you. But it not only creates a sense of relief from within, but it also allows you to realize your most positive traits. Now, some that you may not even know were there to begin with. So, in other words, it's like the forthcoming of yourself, the forthcoming of reality, of your own image, of breaking free from this false image that everyone may think of you, or negative things that people put in your head. It's terrible, and that's one of the reasons why I started working with my shadow work and also with the occult. But there's so much you can do spiritually with the occult, and that's one of the main reasons why people do practice the occult, is they want to develop themselves spiritually, because we all know that this right here, this is not us. We are a spirit having a human experience. One day that's going to end. When that will be, we never know. But that's, I think, the reason why people are, more and more people, I should say, are becoming more involved in the spiritual aspect of life, as well as their careers and, you know, what have you, their creativity, all of that, their children, you know, bringing up their children, but they're breaking free from the norm and the false identities that they grew up with, and they're realizing who they are, which is fantastic. There's so many personal interests that I think people don't realize, or they don't face because they're afraid to. And that is the fault of everyone else, not themselves. I mean, honestly, shadow work can help you live your life more freely, more independently, more creatively, creatively. Yeah. More creatively. And help you get to know your own identity, or your true identity, and authentic self. That, to me, is what shadow work is all about. There's going to be times when you're not going to want to do this, or the way that I journal when I get home, or if I'm at home, or whatever, I'll make a note on my phone, but writing it down to me is just phenomenal, because it's something that you've written. You've actually physically did something. You didn't push your thumbs on a little keyboard. You physically wrote it and understood what each letter, each word, each sentence, each paragraph means. You're going to associate these entries with feelings that come up when you're around certain people, or if you're in certain situations, or if something from the past comes to you in your mind and it triggers an emotion or a feeling, or, just something not so great. You want to acknowledge that, accept that, and then move beyond it. That's one of the biggest things that I had to start doing, and I had a lot of problems with when I started my shadow work a few years ago. But this topic has been coming up quite a bit on social media, so I really wanted to address shadow work and what it was, and how I don't want to say handle it, because you're really not handling it, and how you face it, how you put it into perspective, how you actually look at the situation, how you fix this situation. It takes a lot of time, because you may think something is all done and you're beyond a situation, or you're beyond a feeling, or you're beyond a past element, and then all of a sudden you have a similar situation that pops up 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, boop, you have that feeling or that emotion all over again. So one of the greatest things is because of the journaling that you do, and again, I don't just journal about shadow work, I journal about everything. So when it comes to different spells that I do, what I do on moon cycles, what I do for the seasons, for the Sabbath, so on and so forth, everything goes in here. But it's not a book of shadows, it's not a grimoire, it's actually just journaling. And it's the greatest feeling, because if you feel that anger, you could write that down, and you don't have to shout it out on the mountaintops, so to speak. You're not going to act indifferently towards someone who simply asks you a question, and all of a sudden you become sharp and angered for no reason whatsoever at someone else who didn't deserve it. So, journaling and shadow work go hand in hand. That's my main point of this video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please go ahead and comment below. Of course, like my channel. I love that. We all do. Yay! And if you'd like to subscribe, please do. If you like my content, ring that bell, of course. Click it, so you can see when my next video comes out. Anyway, it was a pleasure. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.